This is Chef Amanda Schonberg of Chef Schonberg Sweets, and I cannot wait to chat with you on Juliet's cakerschat. See you there.
Good morning, everyone. It's Juliet and Chef Amanda Schonberg. Good morning, Amanda. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Morning.
Let's check in and see who we have in today. We have Wendy. Good morning, Wendy. Lisa. Good morning, lovely Lisa. Let's see who else. See, I stopped seeing all the scrolls. Who you have there, Chef?
I have Lisa. I have Wendy. I see Lisa and Wendy. Me too.
Yeah, I don't know why sometimes I don't see. Okay, I see.
Yeah, Wendy says we look awesome.
We look what?
We look awesome. And there's Brandy. Brandy Hightower. Good morning.
Oh, I
there's
see.
Miss of Unforgettables. Thank you, sweetie.
Cheryl. Good morning, Cheryl. Thank you for joining us this morning. Lauren is here too. Tisha. Good morning, lovely. Stephanie. Okay, we got our morning roll call in.
Yeah, Sweet Fest is here. Good morning, Miss
Good
Sis.
morning, Miss Sweet Fest. Good morning. Thank you for joining us this morning. Cindy?
Sydney Mitchell.
Sydney. Good morning, Sydney. How are you? I've only had 1 cup of coffee, so it's absolutely not enough. And you guys might say, Juliet went a little crazy on the bronzer this morning. That's not that. It's 27 degrees. So I had to go run out and drop my kid off at school and run right back to talk to Miss Chef Amanda, and that's why I still haven't thawed out quite yet. So good morning, all. Thank you so much for joining us today with Miss Chef Amanda Schonberg, and I love your name so much. It just has a little bit of authority to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. How's that?
I picked a good one.
Yeah, you did. So what we're going to talk to you about today, and it's something that we hear you on your Periscopes, because that's where you can be found, right?
Yes, ma'am. At Chef Schonberg on Periscope and all over everywhere else.
And all over everywhere else. She is the owner of Chef Schonberg Sweets and Desserts. Now, that's a catering company as well, right? It's not just dessert.
Yes. No, it's all desserts, but we do desserts catering.
Ah, desserts catering. Is that how you market yourself? I love it.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, look at that. Okay. So what we're going to talk about is a lot of you, if you know Chef Amanda Schonberg, if you know Chef Schonberg, you know a lot about her background. But we're going to reiterate that for folks that haven't been introduced to her. And if you haven't, I don't know where you've been. But she's been around. So we're going to talk about a little bit where she came from, how did she get into baking sweets, and mainly really is what the importance of kind of staying within your niche, why that's important, and overcoming adversity, because we all go through hard times, whether it's from life, whether it's from like your own health. I mean, adversity comes from so many different places. So it's important to kind of maybe hear from Chef Schonberg what she has to say, and then maybe hopefully it can inspire us. And if you guys have any questions, we're going to go through that. And you guys know at the end of, cakerschat, we have to go through the lightning round because we need to dig into you and see who is Chef Schonberg.
Oh, snaps.
Okay, so Chef, now you basically made a pound cake famous. Like, that's how you basically make your living. It's not, you don't do these like 9-tier cakes that are with perfect edges and flowers. That's not your thing.
No, my edges aren't on fleek, but my bunts are.
Oh, let me tell you something. You said the word fleek. Embarrassingly, I'm going to do a confession. I had to
Right.
Google Fleek a couple of weeks ago, and that's when I realized I'm very old.
Oh, that's so cute.
I said Fleek. I said, is that, I don't know what that is. I haven't been around. Mickey Mouse doesn't say it, so therefore I don't know what that means.
On point, or casket sharp, as we say down here in the South.
What is it? Casket sharp?
Yeah, casket sharp.
Okay, now you gotta break that down. Where's that from?
It's probably some southern term like the millions I use, but it's like, unfortunately, when you're in the casket, you're very nice. Everything is on point. Your makeup is nice. You're out. It's on point. So you're casket sharp. Yeah. So
See, I love learning that stuff. I love casket sharp. I like that. I like that. Casket sharp. See, they know about that. Casket sharp. On fleek. All right. New dictionary terms for Juliet.
Yes.
I don't even know what the heck we were talking about. So anyways. So, and now, I mean, you think to yourself, well, pound cake. How am I going to sell pound cake? How am I going to make a living off of pound cake and such items? But you do that.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
How did you do that?
Probably, it's something that my mother says, probably when you know better, you do better. I had to start all over. So I started all over, and when I set out and made this company, Chef Schonberg Sweets, I knew the direction that I wanted to go in, and I knew I wanted to do what made me happy and not what was expected of me. And I do it well.
That's important. That's important.
Yeah.
A lot of people do what's expected of them.
Yeah.
And sometimes it turns out ugly.
Yes. That was how it was my first go round. Yes.
And then we learn, right? And hopefully quickly, right?
Yeah, very, very quickly. For me, it's Chef Schonberg Sweets is my second business. Before, when I played with the idea of going to school and furthering my education, I used to be cake pop crazy. That was when Bakerella and stuff came out.
Mm-hmm.
So my whole business, which it really wasn't, was I would do cake pops, and it was just like Pops by Mandy, and that was it. But I had no direction. I really didn't know about pricing, continuing education, things like that. I really wasn't making things going in, and I left it alone. Then when I went to culinary school and came out, of course, when I knew better, I did better, and that was that. When I started Chef Schonberg Sweets, I did what it was I loved. And unfortunately, that's pound cakes. They're full of butter, but they're full of love.
I don't see why you say unfortunately. I love pound cake. It's just not something that you would say that it's a high-end product or a moneymaker at all. Let's try to take this back to the beginning. So when you know better, you do better, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you went to school.
Correct.
Okay. Did you go to a traditional culinary school?
No, not traditional in the sense I didn't attend a for-profit college or a fancy culinary, no, nothing. I went to a local college, or as they say, a community college.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I majored in culinary arts and occupations, which is
Okay.
generally hospitality.
Does that really make a difference where you get your education as far as culinary? I mean, it is recipe, learning how to follow a recipe, learning the discipline that a chef needs to have. And your instructors themselves they came from great schools, right?
Yeah, oh, yes. I was trained under Chef Jean French. He's 72. He still teaches at the college. And he actually teaches other chefs who work at other colleges that we now have. When I went, there was only one, and they were building a second. Now we have about 3. I don't personally think it's important. I think you have to go with whatever's comfortable to you. You look at the course curriculum, look at the costing of it, and see if that's where you want to invest your time. And for me, the curriculum was the same all around the board.
That's right.
So I didn't care if it was a community college or a junior college. It was what I chose because I liked the instructor and it worked for me.
Yeah, a lot of people, what they do, chef, right? And you can tell me if you didn't see this going across the board. A lot of people spend a lot of money, go into debt to go to an Ivy League baking school, cooking school to become a chef, and then they come out, they're broke, in debt, and then there's no amount of cupcakes that's countable to pay that back soon enough, right?
Correct. Yes.
So then they go out there, and then I want to talk to you about this. Initially, you didn't go necessarily into baking, right? I mean, is that when you finish culinary school, do you straight up say, okay, well, I'm going to open up a restaurant now, or I'm going to open up a bakery for sure? Those are the only jobs, those are the only journeys that I'm going to go, the only destinations I have after that. Is that true?
No, there are so many things you can do. A lot of times it's divided. Either you can go into a savory route, or either you can go baking, whatever it is you choose. But even if you go baking, or say you go, as they say, pastry, I mean, you could be a cake decorator, you could be a baking consultant. You can do like me and take up classes in food service management or retail management. So there's so many different occupations in that field. Everybody just doesn't come out piping buttercream and dreaming of smiles. So
right.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's important too. I mean, just knowing how to manage the business part of it, because a lot of us can be great bakers, but the business side of it is probably the toughest side.
Correct. It probably is, and that is something that I run into a lot when you meet people. A lot of people are great bakers, but it's that business side that they lack, and you find that a lot, and it's a huge lack.
What do you think? Do you think it's because of lack of training, or do you think just artists? They call them starving artists for a reason. Do you think that it's impossible for them to actually become business people, or do you think it's just a lack of training?
Not at all. There's so many great resources today that we have in the cake community or the sweets community that offer that. So I'm definitely going to have to say a lack of training, because you can be great at cake, but the cake isn't great if you can't market it, if you don't know how to sell it, if you don't know the profit that you're making off of it. So I think it's a lack of training. When you realize that you do have this talent, maybe you do make 9-tier cakes and they float from the sky. But if you're lacking something, if you're not filing your taxes correctly, if you don't know what it is to be a licensed home-baked business, then it's up to you to either seek, what do I do? And you don't have to turn around and say, okay, well, do I go to culinary school? That's not the route. There are plenty marketing consulting firms, and there's plenty other business places or classes you can take. It's up to you to make up whatever it is that you lack for.
That is a great point that you make, and a lot of people, unfortunately, I mean, we talk about this a lot on cakerschat. Humans, we're just inherently lazy, and we buy books and we say, oh well, this book should be the cure-all, but you know what? It's not just the book. You need to go do it. That's just like me buying a exercise machine. Just because I bought it, or a gym membership, just because I bought it, doesn't mean that I'm going to lose weight. I have to go do the hard work. You have to go do your numbers, and you have to go do your calculations, and it's not fun.
No. Sometimes it's not fun. If you're not good at it, it's not fun. But you have to ask yourself, what is the end result? If your why is big enough. Because if your end result is to attain a certain amount of success, whatever success is to you, because that definition could be different all across the board, then you have to do what it is that you need to do in order to make yourself a better home-based business, or a better bakery, or just a better caker in general. It's up to you to look into whatever it is that you need, but it's out there. It's surely out there.
Yeah, a lot of people don't want to hear that because they kind of want it done for them.
Yeah, and it can't be. You have to do certain things yourself, and you have to know. You definitely should want to know for yourself. Like I'm in so many groups, and I notice sometimes people ask all the same questions, and well, when should I meet this person, or how should I make this look, or a popular one, what should I charge? You have to really want to know those answers for yourself. And then the learning doesn't stop. Just because I completed school over 5 years ago, I still take continuing educational courses. I still have to, make sure I have my restaurant management, my serve safe. It doesn't just stop. You have to keep harnessing your craft.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you want to you have to Google Fleek if you want to know what's up.
Yes. Correct.
Okay, if you want to stay on top of your game, you got to stay educator, you got to know what's the new in thing, what's the new way to do things. And just because things were done a certain way as far as management is concerned, you still have to find out maybe there's a quicker way, a better way.
Yes, correct.
A more effective way.
Yes, Lisa said it best. We must continue to learn always. Always.
Well, the minute that we say that we're done learning is you're basically closing the doors.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So you want to talk a little bit about adversity. Is there any specific adversity? I mean, this is one part of the adversity, is the challenges of getting yourself organized, the challenges of finding out the proper pricing. And I think the hardest part about this is because pricing is so different depending on where you are. It's not one of those things that you can go to Amazon and say, well, everybody can charge this price for this, that, and the other stuff. You buy pound cake in the South, I'm sure it's completely different from New York City. And it depends on how close it is to the conveniences, because half the time you're paying for not the product itself as much as the convenience.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's where a lot of this pricing stuff comes from. But other than pricing, what other adversity are you kind of trying to channel in, like, to overcome? And what steps do you take to overcome them?
I would say maybe not so much that I particularly go through, but a lot of times, sometimes you're right, there are different adversities. Sometimes it could be social adversity, just people putting you or boxing you in a category when you're home based, that you can't do this, you can't go any higher, opinionated adversity. And it's like you have to kind of break through those walls and, shatter those thoughts and opinions. And you go through that a lot, especially, I know I did starting out. People expect, oh, you're going to do cake, and it's like, why do I only have to do, one thing? So you end up overcoming a lot of social adversity, people wanting something from you, speaking their reservations. And when you go through that, especially if you're new, it could be daunting if you're always hearing people tell you to do something that they feel is right. And it's like people want to put you in a box, but if it doesn't make you happy, if it's not right for you, it takes time to overcome those things, when a lot of times you don't hear the positive things that you should hear in the cake community. So
is it more about, from what I'm hearing, is kind of like it's a confidence thing?
Yeah, with some people, yeah.
Because you have to have kind of a backbone to say, well, this is the decision I've made for my business, and whatever you say about it, that's you.
Exactly. And I wish we can get into a day and age where we can learn really not to say much about it at all. I mean, the fact that somebody says, hey, I want to start a business, hey, I want to do something, if it makes that person happy, then I feel we should all be supportive. We all come from different walks, we all come from different genres. In the cake community, you have people now, you have chocolatiers who are doing amazing things left and right, like Crumble and Co. and people who do things with the Oreo, something that we think is so basic, all the way to people like Wendy from Wendy's cake learning blog, who does these beautiful talks. The sweets world, the cake world is so vast, but it can't be a cakers against bakers type thing. We all sling sugar at the end of the day. We just sling it in a different form.
Cakers, people say, well, I do cookies, so cakerschat is not really for me. This is all about just all the sugar masters. You touch sugar, it's all about us together, because it's basically, we're in the same industry. We're still doing the sweets tables. The same type of clientele is coming to us. One year they want to do the Oreos and pretzels, and the next year they want to do a 5-tier cake. And you know what? Now you have Chef Amanda, who's like saying, why not do a pound cake? Think outside the box.
Yes. Exactly. And we love the things we do. I had somebody tell me, where you're going to lose money in the wedding industry, because that's where the money is. Not necessarily. You have to get smart with your marketing. So I had to say, okay, well, what can I provide? How can I bring this industry into my world? So I do tiered pound cakes. Just like they do tiered cakes. I can give you a 10-inch, an 8-inch, and a 5-inch pound cake if you desire. So you don't really have to listen to other people's opinion. If you know in your heart is something that you want to do, you push that to the side. And other people who do give opinions, my response to them would be to maybe hold the phone. It kind of goes back to the age old, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. I think a lot of times we're given a platform and we tend to like to press go live or go broadcast, and we like to speak our platform. But guess what? That's what you do. That's kitchen talk, maybe with a girlfriend, because you don't know the words you say, how they can help or how they can hinder someone. So even if it's your opinion, and even if it's your opinion and it comes with a disclaimer, such as what a lot of people say, well, I'm not talking about anyone in particular, but yeah, you kind of are, because people can see through that. So if it's negative, just keep it to yourself. We should always be empowering and helping one another. And that's the bottom line, whether it's cake, bake, whatever it is. That's it.
Well, I think that has to come down with, I guess, how you're raised. And in this world of everybody thinking about themselves, in the world of selfies, in the world of Facebook Live, you know, everybody's constantly thinking of themselves. So they don't sit there and focus, how's the next person going to receive their words?
Yes. Yes.
Right?
Very much so.
Guys, you know, Chef Schonberg was talking about her cakes and her pound cakes, and the whole time I kind of whizzed away just thinking about that whole caramel dripping. Did you guys see the promo? I think I gained about 5 pounds just watching that promo over and over again, and that dripping caramel. Your photos are on fleek. Those are ridiculous. I love them. I said, because you sent me some photos and then I went to your website. I said, I'm stealing these. Look at this. This is hot. And let me tell you, you would say pound cake. I would say no big deal. But the way you photograph them, the way you market them, I would say that's a destination place. I need to go to Baton Rouge and get me that pound cake now. Otherwise, I would have said, there's nothing for me down there. What's the big deal? But now I saw that I want it. Now I need to go get it. It's on my bucket list now.
That's the whole idea. Yeah. And I love photographing my food. It really is it's a great passion, but you know, it came because it was a weakness. When I finished school, it was something that I honestly was not good at. And my mentor pulled me aside and said, hey, you're missing this element. You need to kind of bump it up. So I went back, I invested, I poured myself into books to study angles, to study placement, things like that. And like I said, continuing education, it never stops.
Right, because being a baker, a caker, what have you, you are not only baking in the kitchen. You are decorating. You are the cleaning lady. You are the photographer. You are the carpenter.
Amen, sister.
You know, you are everything. So you do have to be. Oh, and not to mention, you are also a graphic designer. You are marketing. You are digital marketing.
Mm-hmm. Customer service, you answer the phones, or in some cases you might be the delivery driver. So yeah, put on a lot of hats.
Yes.
A lot of hats.
Yeah, I got a lot of hats. I think my closet's but full right now. How did you decide it's going to be pound cake, or did it just happen by accident?
No, I decided. You
said pound cake it is?
Yeah.
And you made it work for you?
I did. I tell this story often, and it's a joke. I really wasn't thinking about starting Chef Schonberg Sweets. I did, I guess, what we're naturally told to do, which was when I finished school, I got great jobs. I enjoyed working. I enjoyed managing, and I was on a job that I loved with all my heart and soul. And I tell this story all the time, which was Costco. And I was a baker there, great hours, and I just enjoyed it. A management position became available. Long story short, it was either me or my buddy, because she went to culinary school too. I said, if one of us doesn't get it, it has to be. Neither one of us got it. Some dweeb got it. Shout out to Tyler, because I know he's watching. And the bakery, it fell apart, and I was unhappy. And one day a young lady came in. He wasn't ordering things correctly. We didn't have items. And she said, I really wanted a cake. So I said, as a joke, I'm going to make this woman a cake, and I'm going to show him. I'm going to show my manager, you messed up. You need me. And I did it as a joke. And the only thing that happens was the next day, the calls were, I had like 3 calls. She was asking, and I really wasn't a business. So I sat down and I said, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do what makes me happy. And pound cakes, being in the kitchen with my mom, that was something that made me happy. I love, which is called regional cuisine. I love regional desserts. And so I'm down here in the South. I just said I was going to do it, and that was it. Because I realized when you do things for others, you never really feel good. like I said, it's several years prior when I was doing all those cake pops, it's because they were in. Bakerella had just came out. The book was hot. Everybody wanted this type of pop and that type of pop. And darling, my cake pops, they were not popping. They were not on fleek, as you say. So when I fast forwarded 7 years, I said, this time I'm going to do this correctly because I know better now. So, you know, I have the education, I have the fundamentals, and I'm going to do what makes me happy. And that was it.
That's fantastic. I'm so happy to hear that. And can you tell me what's the importance of that? It's like you were talking about the cake pops, and everybody kind of knows on cakerschat if they watch how I feel about them.
Yeah.
I can do them, but they're just not my favorite thing to do. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
They're a labor of love, man. They are a labor of love. Shout out to Danny.
Danny, why? I just don't understand. Why would you want to sit there? Like, why do they fall off the stick? That's all. If everything else would behave, just don't fall off the stick. I'll roll the balls. I don't care. I'll mash it up.
Yeah.
Just don't fall off the stick. It kills me.
I like the balls better. I mean, if you have to have them, then toss the stick. You know, you're just gonna eat them anyway. So I just rather the cake balls.
Right? What's the stick for? You're wasting my time. You're wasting my money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why can't we just roll them in cocoa powder and nuts and stuff? Forget the, you know?
Exactly. Now, there is a young lady on Instagram who I follow, and she does them naked. She doesn't even do them in coating. That's her thing.
Now, there you go. See?
Yeah. And they look delicious.
Yeah, I'm down with that. Falling off the stick business.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, it's like, you have like 3 more to go, and those are the messed up ones. And you're like, I can't.
But, you know, funny story, that's actually how I came on Periscope.
With pops.
Like my students locally, they had told me about it, and I said, I'm not doing this. I'm not, you know, going on Scope or whatever, because I would drive to different cities helping them. And they were like, you know, you could just Periscope this and we could see you one-on-one. And I'm like, I'm not doing this. Well, I had an order and I took it because the lady said, I love your cake, but I want it in cake pops, cake balls. And I'm thinking, oh man, here we go again. And that's the only time I regret ever taking the order, because I knew it was something that I didn't like. So I was on my Instagram, and a young lady, Papistry by Sabrina, was having a class, except it was via Periscope.
Okay.
So I ended up hopping on Periscope. I had to have her show me because I had no idea. And then afterwards, you know, she would come into different scopes, and people would ask questions, and I would answer, and I would help. And then she would say, well, why you don't scope? And I'm thinking, you know, no, it's not for me. So, but...
Well, look at you now. I love listening to you. You know, we just started, and I said to Chef Schonberg, I said, I love your personality. You're poppy. You're very poppy, as in like energetic. Okay, and you have this infectious energy that if I could hear you talk every morning, it would be a good start of my morning.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, are you kidding me? I appreciate you.
Yeah.
So, tell me, so you came up with this whole bundt cake thing. How important is it? I mean, sometimes it's not that easy to find your niche. You're like, you know what? I hate cake pops. Cakes are being a pain in my neck now. What do I do? So how do you find that? Like, you just stick with something and try to perfect it? Or do you just try to find something that makes you happy? It's not that easy and clean cut to find your niche.
No, it's not. I would say first, close your eyes. And what is it that you can imagine yourself not doing? You know, like, what is it when you think about it? Or what can you imagine yourself not going without? If there was an item that had to be baked. And for me, I could not imagine myself not making pound cake. It made me happy. So a lot of times I tell people, you know, think about what it is that you can't go without. Something that you enjoy doing. And then the next thing is maybe think about your strengths. What are you strong at? You know, what do you stand out at? Are you the person who rushes to put a cake mix, a box mix, you know, in the oven? Not that there's anything wrong with box mix, only to turn around and decorate it and make it look like a beautiful flower? Or are you the person who just enjoys the process of actually mixing and working with the mix, and then when it comes out, you're just like, screw it? So, you know what your strengths are, and then play off of that. And that's one of the great ways to start off with finding what it is that your niche is.
All right. You know what? I'm going to have a suggestion for you. Maybe you should have like a worksheet going on. How to find your niche, like, 5 odd questions. Answer these 5 questions and that'll find your niche, because it's not easy. And it also, you're talking about regional food. Yeah, I don't know, that works for the South, I suppose. Again, it's almost like pricing. That same equation doesn't necessarily work everywhere.
Yes, sometimes it might not necessarily work everywhere. Sometimes.
But you gotta put your thinking cap on, take the knowledge, do some reading, do some research, do some soul searching.
Yes.
And you'll find it. Guys, do you have your niche? I know Danielle has her cake pops. What's your niche? I want to hear from you. I want to hear these kind of suggestions. I want to see what kind of niches are out there. And if you're playing around with niches and you haven't stuck to it, list the niches that you think you're thinking of putting yourself into. Some people do everything. And what do you think about that? I mean, they do the whole dessert table.
You don't want to burn yourself out. If you're okay with it, then that's fine. But I feel a lot of times, and that's a problem too, I feel a lot of times people offer a lot because they feel that they should, but sometimes you confuse your customer. Your menu is all over the board, and there's not one particular thing that you shine at, or there's not one particular thing that you specialize in. Sometimes having a niche or having something that you specialize in or a focal point, it's that pivotal thing that separates you from everybody else. So sometimes that's a way to help you capitalize, is to just stand out, to go against the grain, not to be, defiant or anything like that, but in order just to be happy, to do what it is that makes you happy. Because at the end of the day, I can't be happy for you. You have to find out what's going to make me wake up out the bed at 3 a.m. What makes me want to run to Walmart, with my pants on backwards and rollers, because I have to. So it has to be something that makes you happy.
At least you have pants on.
Yeah.
Hey, if they're backwards, don't worry about that. That's not the issue. You said something really important here. Getting yourself into a niche isn't necessarily putting yourself in a box. That's not the point here. It's almost a concentration and a focus. And what it'll end up doing, as you said just now, is it basically that's what's going to set you apart from the next person. Correct. Very much correct. I don't believe that necessarily we are all in direct competition with one another, but we are, in a sense, that we are selling the same kind of products. I always make this analogy. I do it all the time. Haagen-Dazs and Ben & Jerry both make ice cream. Both of them make very good ice cream. And you have your Ben & Jerry customers and you have your Haagen-Dazs customers. And they could be side by side in the mall and they still will be busy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And not for nothing. Some days I'm in the mood for Haagen-Dazs and some days I'm in the mood for Ben & Jerry's. You have Scott toilet paper and you have Charmin. And you have loyal customers on both sides.
Oh, yeah.
Right? They both do the same job, right? But they both empty off that shelf. Right? But Charmin has that one thing that Scott doesn't. Scott has that one thing that client wants that Charmin doesn't. It's okay. So set yourself apart. And this is not about competition with the girl down the street or guy down the street. It just has to do with making yourself the better vendor, better product. And at the end of the story, the whole why of this, right, is to make yourself happy.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
Isn't that awesome? I want to talk to you about your spouse.
Sure.
Does he support your craft?
Yes, extremely important. He actually works a lot, which people don't know, but when I do dessert tables or catering, he is wonderful at setting up my tables. He carries in all the luggage, and he actually loves to serve. He loves to serve. So when we do dessert tables, he'll be serving guests, like there's no tomorrow. He smiles. He's real chocolatey with those hazel eyes. And I'm like, that's right, baby. You slaying that sugar. So my spouse is extremely supportive.
Isn't that a turn on? He's supporting you, right? In your Basically, it's both of your futures, really, just because it's your career path. But the fact that he's supporting you and he's doing it with a smile, how important is that?
It's really important because you need that. I mean, your support system should definitely always be internal first. You know, you need that. I need him to understand why I do stay up late sometimes at night. I need him to understand, you know, when my phone rings and it's a guy, and to not trip. That guy could just be ordering something for his wife. So it's very important for your spouse to, you know.
I never thought of that.
Because my phone rings all the time, you know, and he's like, you know, it is what it is. He knows where my heart is, so yeah.
You're funny. I never even thought of that.
Yeah, girl, I get the guys calling those, you know, last minute, late minute, and, you know, they don't read the hours. They don't know. They just know that they forgot to take care of their wife, and she told them to get Chef Schonberg sweets, and now they're going to be in a doghouse. But, you know, he'll pass me the phone, and he'll say, here, babe, you know, make your money, and that's what I do.
Oh, what a sweetie. We want some of him. We need to clone him.
Yeah, Daddy's very friendly.
Aw. So if you, you know, sometimes you don't have that support system. So maybe you have to go outside for it. Maybe cakerschat is your only support system, which we are here for you. And we're always going to be here for you. And we're supposed to be here for each other, well, however you need the help. Just to hear each other out, right?
Yes.
That's important. Sometimes just letting it out.
Sometimes people need that. They need an avenue to vent, whether it be, you know, like watching people, like on cakerschat, people who do like-minded things that they want to do, or maybe just getting into a positive Facebook group. Sometimes you just really need to let it out before you go cuckoo.
That's right. You do need to let it out before you go cuckoo and burn out.
Yes. Yeah, because bottling in emotions in this business, it can cause you to burn out. If you never stop and you never assess, okay, why do I feel this way? What is causing me to feel this way? And you keep it in, eventually you're just going to get to a point where you say, you know what, screw it. And that's when you walk away for all the wrong reasons, rather than sitting down and saying, okay, what do I need to discuss? What do I need help with? Where can I go to get that help? So
right, and sometimes it's your girlfriends, and sometimes they're not always cake people. I know cake people don't get us.
Yeah, they don't. They must think we're cuckoo, but it's hard. You know, they don't understand when I explain a customer rant or something like that. They're like, yeah, whatever.
And that's okay, but at least you got it out. And sometimes it's okay to not even talk cake things. Imagine that. I know it's crazy.
Yeah, you're right.
But sometimes it's okay.
Yeah, it is.
Just to get your minds off of it. You guys, let's go back to our audience and see who's chatting in here, and let's see what were their niches, what were they aiming for. Let's see here. See, my thing doesn't update every once in a while. I have to like refresh. Can you see it?
Yes, I can see it.
Once in a while, I have to like refresh. Hang on. Here I go.
Miss Francine says she's a fan of Big Daddy.
I think he's gonna have a whole bunch of fans right now.
Yeah.
Lisa says it's so important to have a support, and she loves her honey. That's great. I want to get back to where they're listing their niches. I'd love to hear what they're saying, but my computer is not cooperating right now.
Yeah, it won't let me go back either. I could just
No. Why? Facebook, why? Tell me, Facebook.
Facebook doesn't want to let us be great.
I saw some really good stuff. I know Francine does her chocolate shoes, which she kills me. You guys know I am a fan of sugar shoes. And here she is making chocolate shoes. She kills me every time.
Yes, and then she just made the little hanging.
Did you see those? I told her, I was like, are those like earrings or what is that?
Those were so cute. Yeah, she made them for the Skillshare-a-thon. They were so cute.
Adorable. I can't find any other. Okay, so you know what we're going to do? We're going to go into questions. Do you guys have any questions for Chef Schonberg? You know what? Before you guys start listing your questions, I want to know, are you teaching anywhere soon? Are you making any public appearances anywhere soon, lady?
The next public appearance I make will probably be as a friend and as a caterer. I know in April, Sid of Sweet Fest is teaching her business boot camp in New Orleans, and I know I will be there. I know that class will come with my catering, so I will be there as help. And I'm pretty sure I will be at the annual Sweet Fest Con, which is later on in Georgia. Other than that, local appearances, I do know that I'll be speaking at a local high school in about 2.5 weeks. Just on finding yourself out of college and speaking to some of the students there, and teaching the next teaching class I have, not speaking, but actually, which is a webinar, which is a pricing class on January 29th.
Pricing class. Guys, did you hear that?
Pricing fundamental class for sweet makers. And I actually teach that class in conjunction with Sydney Mitchell of Sweet Fest. So that's probably my favorite class, number one topic. And I feel that that's such a pivotal thing to sweet entrepreneur business. So we did that class in July, and it had rave reviews, 5-star reviews from everyone who left reviews, and people left feeling empowered. And that's something that's really, it's so many things. I mean, it's helpful. It makes you feel, you're just happy to help people, because that's like one of the number one problems that people have. In lots of groups, people ask, well, what should I charge? What's this? And you really have to know pricing. It can either make or break your business. So going over the fundamentals and things like that. And I'm happy that I did the class with someone, because alone, I am a chef, a certified chef, and I can help. But Sid Mitchell, there's a business aspect of it. So it's kind of like a best of both worlds tour. Yeah. So, you have someone, with the master's degrees and the fancy stuff who could break down all the business terminology. So she presents her side, and then you have someone from the kitchen, and, I give advanced tips on kitchen inventory, stuff like that. And then we cover it head on, and you leave just feeling so much more knowledgeable and empowered and confident to not only know how to price, because there's multiple formulas and we go over that, but to price your worth and to know how to communicate that to your customer. A lot of times I feel people might know how to price, they just don't know how to communicate their worth. And that's what that class teaches. And that's January 29th, 7 p.m.
If anything, you guys should learn how to, what were you saying? How to tell the client.
Communicate your price. Yes, and that's a part of it. I mean, we don't just go over the formulas are good. It comes with worksheets. There's even a recipe in there that we go over, and that's what I love about the webinar. It's not like a Periscope or a Facebook class. It's like you're back in mini school. There's slides. You see our faces. We go through things one-on-one. We don't go through the next thing until you finish and you're okay with the first thing. So it's that hands-on live training that you get, which is a great way to start the year off with. But yeah, part of that is communicating. A lot of times people don't know how to ask their worth, how to market their worth, and how to really set their worth. And you have to communicate that message to the customer. And that's really what entails the pricing fundamentals class on January 29th. So I'm excited about it.
That is really important. Communicating your own self-worth to your customer. We're always talking about educate your customer, because they don't get it. They don't understand it. Just like I don't get it why my mechanic charges me such and such. I don't get it that part was shipped from I don't know where. I don't get it that you're sitting up in the cold and you got to lift my car up and you've got to be careful. I don't get it. I just want it done. So the same way that he has to sit there and school me, we have to sit there and school them. So that's really important to learn how to do that.
Exactly. And a lot of times I feel that people fail to realize that, or they might think, well, that's them having to explain, or that they shouldn't have to explain. But think about it. There's nothing that you go into the store, whether it be spaghetti, a can of Chef Boyardee, or matter of fact, this seasoning salt right here from Weber's. I mean, it could say seasoning salt, but it's still going to tell you other aspects about it, such as it's gluten-free, it's low sodium, you can put it on steak, stuff like that.
You have to sell it.
Exactly. You have to sell it. So people have to know. So when people come to you and say, well, why the heck is this pound cake $50? You don't just get offended, or you don't say, oh, well, never mind, I won't take this order. I have to know how to effectively communicate. I have to know how to tell you, okay, well, number one, it's homemade. Okay, well, number two, it's alcoholic. Okay, well, number three, it automatically comes gift wrap. Sometimes when you hear the other components that go with the product, then you're more at ease to make the purchase. So you really have to educate your consumer. And it's okay to let them know how to relay that message of your pricing when you're confident and you're pricing correctly.
Every time you relate back to your pound cake, my mouth waters. So is it only an adult only cake?
No, I have over 50 different flavors. Half of them are alcoholic and the other half are, basics such as a vanilla bean dream. We have wedding cake, butter, okay. We have coconut, all types of. I would end up sounding like Bubba, but yeah, there are 7 flavor pound cake, lemon drop martini, minty mojito, raspberry beret, Hennessy praline, cognac.
And you didn't bring me any either? All kinds of wrong. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to check to see here if we can find the comments here. Let's go back to you, Chef. Good idea. Do you ship the cakes?
Yes, we do. We ship to all 50 states.
All right. Well, you know where New York is now. I'm just trying to see what else we have here. Oh, thank you, Wendy. Sweet Success Project on Facebook to sign up. Thank you so much. Because Valerie was asking where the classes are. Do you want to maybe post in the link there?
Yes. If anyone wants to know, you can go to learn.thesweetfest.com. That's learn.thesweetfest.com. It'll put you on the Sweetfest page's, Sweetfest site's main page. Once you scroll, there will be a little section, and it shows you how to register for the class. And we offer a payment plan for the class. There's a section for you to reserve your spot, and that's learn.thesweetfest.com. Or if Sydney Mitchell's in the chat, she can actually put the bit.ly link if she doesn't mind. And if you follow me on Periscope, it's in my profile also. You click it, and it'll take you straight to register for the class.
Chef Schonberg, they love you. All I see is love here in the comment section. All I see is love, and what I adore the most is the fact that you have one girl asking the question and the next person supporting and just looking it up for the next. They're not even waiting for us to answer. They're just picking up where the last one left off, and that is what I adore, and that's what I appreciate, and I'm so proud of you guys. That's exactly what I want to see.
I'm blessed. This chat is filled with some really awesome people, some really supportive people, and you need that. When you find your niche, when you're working, when you're operating this business, everybody needs a cake buddy or a cake pal. And I mean, like you have Danny in here. Danny is somebody who I love because a lot of people, they speak and they want things for their business, but their feet never hit the pavement. So I'm always telling Danny, I'm so proud of you because she's very much like me. We'll get up, I'll get up, she'll say, okay, I'm going to go introduce myself to this business. You have to be bold for your business. Danny is such a great person. I know Wendy Lynn is in here from Cake Learning Blog, and she, educates the community very well. Matter of fact, I wrote a recipe for her, which is in this December issue of American Cake Decorating.
Ooh, check that out.
Yeah, it's a free recipe, a white chocolate peppermint pound cake that I was able to write for Miss Wendy.
Yum.
And then you have Parker's Confection, Miss Francine. That's what social media is all about. It's connecting you to positive people who you can interact and who you can get to know. I know there's some nights where I'm up at 2 a.m. and if my chat is on, then Miss Francine's chatting with me. She's like, hey, Chef, I'm making lemon curd. What do you think? And I'm like, hey, Miss Francine. So it's really about building positive associations.
Absolutely. And those positive associations are what are going to energize you and lift you up, almost like a charger would charge up my phone.
Exactly. And when when you fall, when you need strength, when you're upset or, I know I call on I call her my cake pal. And she just got a mixer the other day, but Sydney, I know I call on my buddy and I'm like, help me, what did I do? Or I had a bad day. You need that.
And we all have bad days, A lot of times you can do a recipe over and over and over again. The weather changes. Maybe you're not in the mood. Maybe you got a phone call and forgot to put something in. Mm-hmm. The other day I made, I'm going to shout myself out. The other day I made Italian meringue buttercream, which I love. I do it all the time. Gets me excited, what have you. Got this down packed, right? And I put it in the refrigerator because usually it comes up loose. I throw it in the refrigerator so it can tighten up. This thing is still soupy. I said, what did I do? I said, you fool. My God, what a baker. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, typical. I put myself down too. You know what I'm saying? I'm still learning. You have your bad days. So I'm like, oh my God, I gotta throw away all this ingredients. So whatever. I slept on it. Woke up the next morning. I'm like, dang it! I put in 4 cups of butter instead of 4 pounds of butter because I was distracted. I already threw away the ingredients. So sleep on it. Don't act.
Yeah. Sleep on it. Think about your choices.
I learned. Okay, but yeah, I did it. I did it, and I'm okay with it. I'm not gonna do it again.
We all do it. I remember once I made a pound cake and I didn't even put any flour in it, and I was like, "What the heck?" Just rushing, and I kept looking, and I had no idea why. But yeah, we're all there.
We're all distracted and what have you, and you know that we're in the kitchen. You got some YouTube on that has nothing to do with the project you're doing. Like, why are you watching roses when you're not even making roses? It's just something you do, you know? That's what I stay doing. Or somebody's doing some type of sculpting on something. Oh, she's doing ruffles. Are you doing ruffles? Nope. Just somebody to keep me company, basically, right? How many of you guys do it? Go ahead, confess. Tell me. How many of you guys do it? Let me see the hearts. I know you do it. You forgot eggs once. It happens. The sugar always gets lost. Or sometimes you forget, you're like, how much sugar did I just put in?
Oh yeah.
How many eggs was that? Wait, let me count my yolks. Damn it, that yolk broke. I don't know if that was 2 or 1. Damn it.
Oh yeah.
We've all been there.
Yes, we've all been.
Okay, let's go back into the niches here. Let's see. Caddy says, my niche is designer wedding cakes and sculpted cakes. I wish I could get into that. That sometimes is, you have a different client there, right? Your clients are different, right? Based on who you're selling to. And sometimes you have to pay attention to that. Are you selling to moms?
To soccer moms? Yeah.
High-end.
I do a lot.
High-end brides?
Exactly. Moms, brides. You have to know who your target audience is and who you're trying to get your product to.
Lisa Herrera is she's decided to do wedding cakes. So that's what's going to be her focus. Awesome. Can't wait to see those gorgeous things.
Yes, Miss Lisa.
Karine is asking, what's a good fondant recipe? Who you asking? She's doing bundt cakes.
I don't touch that.
In my opinion, it all depends on what you work with, what kind of texture you're going for, what kind of taste you're going for. Me personally, because I like to bang myself over the head, I bake only organically, and I use organic ingredients, and I like to make my own fondant. Does it act like the fondant in the bucket? No. It argues with me all the time, depending on the weather. So I have to sit there and we argue, but I get it done.
Yeah.
But I chose that challenge because I want that challenge. But a lot of people like Liz's recipe, where she does the marshmallow with the Wilton, or you can actually put in any kind of fondant you want. A lot of people use that. Personally, I don't, that's not what my clientele, because I'm paying attention to my clientele. So my clients are picky, therefore I must be picky.
Exactly. And organic, that's a good field to be in. That's a great niche to have.
It's a niche, but sometimes you peg yourself into a little square, and I found my own challenges, because sometimes, this is a confession here, but sometimes it's cake, and they don't care if it's organic.
Yeah.
It's a brownie. They're like, oh, it's organic, that's why. Well, I don't care, as long as it tastes good.
Yeah.
So
that's what you got.
So, you got to deal with that. You know, it's okay, and I'm dealing with that. That's just fine. But that's where, you have people who strictly do scratch, and you have people who do strictly box, because box is reliable.
Correct.
And
box
people like to walk around with the badge of a scratch on them and say, well, I make scratch cake. Well, girl, if your cake is not good, that scratch is no good. Okay.
Correct.
So if you have a good scratch recipe, then thumbs up. Okay. Yes. That's how we go. That's how we roll.
Yes, and one thing that I would love to say, if I can say anything, because I run across so many people, so I'm going to speak this into existence. When like 10,000 people share out this scope and everyone's watching us, wherever you are, whatever type of baker you are, it is okay. Cake mix, a box baker does not define you. Baking from scratch does not define you. Because even when you start off with the box, there are some people that add different things. Neither one makes you less of a baker or more of a caker. I think a lot of times we do that. That is one adversity. Us scratch bakers, we look down on people who use a box. You'd be surprised how many companies use a box. Or I know a lot of people used to tell me, well, I go to Costco because I know Costco makes fresh. And I'm thinking, yeah, we make fresh, all right. We add water and eggs to a box mix, a 50-pound box mix that we get. So take the perception out of your head. If you do scratch, please don't look down on somebody who does box. And if you do box, please understand someone who does scratch. At the end of the day, it is that result. I know wonderful people. Jay Qualls will swear by his Duncan Hines. Matter of fact, Lisa was just speaking the other day. Great recipe that she does. The end result is for it to taste good, because believe it or not, a fool can mess up a box just as much as they can mess up measuring a cup of flour. So let's lose the stingy or the bouginess with it and drop it. You're all equal.
Look, it's about making a product. And what product are you selling? Again, I'm going to go back to the toilet paper. It's what I know, right? You have Scott's and you have Charmin, and you have people who swear by both. Okay? One doesn't make one better than the other.
Exactly.
Okay, they both do the same job. You just have people who are loyal to one and the other. Shampoo, whatever it is. And this is not about, oh, well, I make a better cake than you. But you know what? Those clients are not coming to you. They're coming to her. Why?
Exactly. And what a lot of people fail to realize, because when I teach so many students and they always think that being scratch is going to set them apart when they make their bakery. But what you fail to realize is that's products. You know, you're going to have to train someone who's going to do that. That's more labor. So a lot of times, and then what happens when you get orders that are in large volume? You know, a lot of times people, it's not so much the fact of the ease of a box as it is the consistency of a box. And believe it or not, we even studied in school, we studied large volume production, and we had to make box mixes because you had to know. Because sometimes when you step out of school, there are companies and facilities that will hire you, and you got to know how to sling that 50-pound mix over your shoulder and put it in a Hobart and whip that thing up.
That's exactly it. I mean, and the thing is, and this is what I want our message to be at cakerschat as well, and I think that's why, Chef, I think that you're a great guest for us today as well. It's not so much about looking to the other next baker to see why are we different. Why don't you look to the next baker and say, why are we the same? We go through the same woes. We don't sleep at night. We school ourselves. We you know, togetherness. Now, if you don't want to be best friends with everybody, then this is not the place for you. Maybe you've got it all figured out. I doubt it, because I don't have it all figured out. Chef doesn't have it all figured out. We're going to continue to learn. As long as my brain is functionally and turning, I'm going to continue to learn alongside you.
Yeah.
Right?
And if we do it together, if we do it in love, then we strengthen and empower one another. So now what one of us lacked, we now have, because we came together in camaraderie and decided to put our likes together as opposed to looking at our differences, which separate us. And that's what it's all about. If you want to quote unquote call it a community, and it should be.
It is a community. I'm hoping that it's going to be a community as long as we stick together in a way where we can support each other, whether it is with just saying, hey, you did a great job. Or, hey, my cake is not rising, troubleshooting, something like that. Yeah. Wendy wanted me to ask you a question here. She says, Juliet, ask Chef how many folks she supports and helps.
I have no idea. I find that I'm pretty, I don't want to say, I guess, pretty weird with the spotlight. People always tell me I do great things, and I like to tell people of other people, because there's this parable that I read a long time ago, and it said the only other time you should ever look down on someone is when you're helping to pull them up. So if I have a chance, a limelight, a microphone, a platform, whatever it is, I tend to like to put everybody out there because we can all succeed. And what happens if maybe I put you out there and you take off faster than me? Then, hey, that's great. You might be what I needed when I turn around and then I realize that I need help. So I don't never really know how many people I help, but I do know it is my job, and it should all be our duty to try to help as many as you can. You know, there's no one diva, or no one stands out more than anybody else. So
is that a caker thing, or is that just a human thing?
The problem is that I find it's a caker thing that we don't, and then I personally think it should be a human thing that we do. As cakers, sometimes I think we feel that there's this race, or there's this popularity thing. So it's not about who has more followers here or who has more likes here. You come into one of my scopes and I openly talk to everybody. I talk to the new person as much as I talk to the person who has a successful home-based business. You have to be open. I don't feel I'm any higher or any less than anyone else, but I feel that with what I've gone through, I wouldn't have a testimony if I didn't get placed through tests. So I'll take that and then I'll use it to turn around and help you, because if I don't, then what does that say about me as a human? So that's just how I look at it.
Yes, Chef Schonberg is awesome. You're getting so much love.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Danny's about to cry. They're making her cry because she's awesome too, and everybody loves her.
Aww.
Oh, look, see all the love being spread about. I can't even keep up with all these comments. It's beautiful. This is exactly what I was hoping for.
Yeah, it's a great community. So we got some cool people in here. So I'm just happy I was able to chat.
Well, now you ready for the lightning round?
Yeah, bring it on, Juliet. Bring it on.
She's excited. I love that. I love that. I gotta say one more thing before we go into the lightning round.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to talk about these followers. So, followers. Okay? Followers. The importance of followers. Honestly, I don't care. I can have 2 followers. I can have 10,000 followers. What makes the difference in those followers? Okay. So, first of all, I want a place for all of us to support one another, love on one another. Okay?
Yes.
If you want to go hate, go do it somewhere else, not here. You want to say something to me and say, you know, Juliet, you know what? Maybe you should do something with your hair. Do me a favor, PM me.
Yes, yes.
Don't do it publicly.
Exactly.
Okay? Juliet, you know what? You should do whatever it is. Anything that's negative, or your guest was too loud, or I don't like what they were talking about. This is not cake related. I'd rather see a demo. And you know what? If you want to see a demo, PM me, write me. We'll do demos as much as you can. But there's a lot of conversations like the ones that you and I are having that cakers have offline and nobody else is hearing it. And there's important stuff going on here in our conversations. One, we realize these people who we look up to and put up on a pedestal, which we really shouldn't.
No.
Because they'll just fall off, okay? Because we don't know them well enough. They work really hard to be where they are at, and the fact that they are actually spreading that love to introduce you to their thought process and how they came about this, so that you don't necessarily have to stumble if you listen to what they have to say.
Exactly.
Okay, so it's basically just a learning experience, almost like just sitting there and having a, I don't want to say like, but it is a support group.
Yeah, very much so.
Right? So these numbers don't matter to me. These numbers, if they increase, this is what they're going to get you. If I get more numbers for cakerschat, this is where I'm going to be happy. I get more numbers, I can get people to give you giveaways. That's when I'm going to be like, awesome, I got more people. That means I can get them giveaways. If I get people to sponsor one of these things and that I can give away like a class, I'd be crazy excited. Because I get to help somebody out. Because you know, these classes are expensive, but they are necessary. So if I get these numbers up, that's where I care about the numbers. I could give a darn who's watching.
Yeah.
Okay? You know, we're supposed to be here to support each other. If it's only me and you in the room, boom. It's doing its job.
Yeah. And if you if you don't like what you are watching, then you can always simply just cut it off, you know.
Boom.
Delete. Yeah, yeah, exactly. It doesn't warrant a response, you know. It doesn't warrant a big disclaimer. Just simply cut it off. You know, it is a thing of supporting a person from a distance. So yeah.
Why not?
Exactly.
It's okay. It's all right. Everything is going to be all right. Everything doesn't have to be a big production.
No, not at all. Not
so
at all.
We can love on each other, and that'll be just fine.
Yes. And I love giving away classes. Every class I teach, I give a class away.
That's beautiful.
And just to somebody who I simply see doing things in the community, if I simply see someone who's trying, but every class I've had, I give one out, because it has to be giving back. Sometimes people can't afford things, but it is a great thing to give back. So yeah.
It's kind of like a Chef Schonberg scholarship.
It is, and they enjoy it. And matter of fact, my last winner was, I had a winter baking class, and her name was Miss Kelly Robertson, and I simply put out a challenge. It was a trick. I said, hey, here's a trick. Here's something that I do when I make deliveries. Go to Dollar Tree, put it in an oversized bag, and the objective is you want to catch that nosy coworker, because a lot of times when things are in big bags, people get deliveries, you know, all the coworkers, they all come and they say, ooh, what you got? Girl, what you got? What's in that bag? What's in that bag? I said, it's a great way to get people buzzed about your business when you make a delivery. So I set out a challenge, a free challenge. And I'm not one of those people who does, I don't do the cake challenges. I don't want you to make or sculpt. I do business challenges. I want you to get money to get out there. And my challenge was, the next time you make a delivery, go to Dollar Tree and get a Dollar Tree bag, and see if that generates you business. And sure enough, the young lady named Kelly, she did it. She put her order in a big bag. She scoped about it, and she was so excited because she ended up getting 4 or 5 orders off of that Dollar Tree.
Well, how do you like that?
Exactly, because I saw her putting it into motion. A lot of times we have faith, we want an end result, but we don't do the footwork to get to it. I said, you know what, my Winter Wonderland class, I'm going to put you in it. It's no cost. And I just love that for people. So it's a blessing.
Chef Schonberg, as a teacher, as an instructor, and I've spoken to so many instructors, and would you say the toughest part about it is teaching and people not taking your word and using it?
I would, because a lot of times, you know, the definition of insanity is doing the same things over and over. And a lot of times I feel if you didn't have a result, it's probably because you were insane, because you were doing something. So if you see something that appeals to you, such as if you're one of those people who asks over and over, how much should I charge? How much should I charge? Then something's offered. But if I teach you and I go in depth and I pour out my all and I give it to you, then you turn around and you don't do it. It kind of aggravates you. But at the end of the day, you have to want it for you. I can't want your business to succeed for you. I can't want for you to propel as much as you want it. So right. It's something that comes with it. But I do follow-ups. You know, there are people who take my classes and I try to follow up. I'll go on your page. And there are some people in here like Parker's Confection, and they will tell you, I will be in their inbox saying, hey, why didn't you do this? Why did you not do that?
Ooh, she's watching. Chef Schonberg's watching.
The class is long over, but my heart doesn't cut off. I still care. So I feel if you spent that money to invest in me, I need you to do what I told you to do. Because you wouldn't look to me if I didn't have some type of quality or you know, something that you embodied for your business. And not that I'm all that in a bag of chips, but just do it. Do it. Try something. Invest in yourself and enjoy the results. Don't be lazy about it.
Oh, you are all that. You are all that and a bundt cake, okay? Please. What does Chef Schonberg do for fun?
Is baking a bad answer?
Wow, you're probably the first one to say that, though.
Yeah, I love being in the kitchen. I love trying new recipes. I bake.
Awesome. I love that answer.
I'm a huge reader, too, so I'm a nerd. I go to the library. Did you know, well, I know it varies from state to state, but my library lets you check out 60 books at one time.
What? Not that I would know what to do with 60 books in one time, but
yeah.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, my books are always either business books. I always get a couple business books, then I always get a couple baking books, and then the last B, which I won't go there because this is a G-rated show, but I'm a happily married wife. I always get a couple bedroom books. You know, it's nice to just read certain novels So those are my three B's.
All right.
The bedroom, yeah.
All right. We'll talk a little bit offline about that because you're about to school me in something new right now. All right. Everybody could use a little spice. Anyway,
Yeah.
what kind of music you listen to?
I love so much. Like right now, I am that person that lets the Christmas channel play 24/7.
You have
It will
to.
not cut. You have to, you know, like, I mean, you can only hear Rudolph so many times. But other than that, I love R&B. I love country. I love Taylor Swift. I love Tim McGraw, Martina McBride. I'm well-rounded. And then I love jazz. I love classical music. So stuff like that. Duke Ellington, different things.
All right. What's your zodiac sign?
I'm an Aries.
Aries. Another Aries. We have a lot of Aries, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
What's your favorite color?
Turquoise.
Love me
Turquoise.
some turquoise. What? Turquoise. What is your favorite season?
Probably now, winter. You know, you can get a lot of indoor activities. It's cold. It makes you want to warm up, and you make some soup. I love hot cocoa.
What
I
kind
love
of cold do you get in Louisiana?
drinking toddies. You know, like it'll dip sometimes. It might get to be 40 or 30 sometimes. It's coming.
That's cold. That's cold. It's not freezing, but it's cold.
Yeah.
All right. What's your favorite dessert?
Red velvet.
Really?
Yeah, girl. Red velvet.
Can I tell you something?
What's that?
You are the first baker to say that they like red velvet. Every red velvet person is usually client.
No, I love red velvet when done right, because red velvet is not a chocolate cake. It is a buttermilk cake with a hint of cocoa. I love red velvet.
Okay.
People always say, oh, it's just a chocolate red cake. No, it's really not supposed to be.
But
So I like
Bavarian cream or cream cheese?
cream cheese.
Some people make Bavarian cream, and I'm like, this is not it.
Yeah, I've heard of that once before. No, baby. I'm cream cheese all the way.
Mm-hmm. That's me. Let's see here. What's your least favorite dessert? You see it on somebody served it. You're a guest at somebody's house. They put it on the table. You're like, oh, I am not eating that.
I'm not a fan of fruitcake, and I've been seeing a lot of those go around. I'm like, I thought they were decoration. I didn't know people really ate them. You know, I was at when they served, and I was like, you got to be kidding me. I'm not eating that. Yeah, I don't eat it. No.
All right, no fruitcake for you. What's your say?
It's throw through your ex's window when you find him cheating. Like, that's what you do with fruitcakes, I think.
Oh my God! I hope it doesn't come to that. Do you do any types of decoration? So I can ask you the question of what's your favorite cake tool? Doesn't have to be the decoration, but maybe it's something in your kitchen.
My favorite, yeah, I make drip cakes. I do other things besides pound cake. You know, we also make cupcakes and chocolate. My favorite tool would probably be the spatula, so I can lick it. That's where the batter's at, baby. That's where the fun is at. It's all on about the spatula.
What? Is that from your bedroom book?
Huh? No, girl. I mean, you know, I take the spatulas in there sometime too, but that's when Big Daddy's been a bad boy.
Listen, this group is from 13 and up, so let's see here. Do you cuss in the kitchen?
Hell yeah, I'm Southern.
Oh, is that a Southern thing, you think?
Well, I know our mouths aren't the cutest all the time.
All
And
right.
it's something that I work on. I try not to curse on any of my broadcasts because I do realize that people view me. And I want to be family friendly. You know, I have an audience of tons of different people. But in the kitchen, when it's just me and that mixer, oh yeah.
What is
into
it? What is it that's getting you frustrated? What is it? Usually.
Sometimes, you know, like the other time I kept beating it and I was wondering what was going on and I forgot to actually plug it up. So sometimes it's just me.
It happens. It happens.
Yeah.
It's
happens.
just internal frustration.
Yep.
I get it.
Yep. Absolutely.
I get it. Girl, what do you want your legacy to be?
Man, that's That's a great question. That I gave my all to everybody. That I lived a life of filled with faith, filled with food, and that's just about it.
I like it. I like it. If you weren't a baker, what would you be?
Probably, well, it's the same thing. Probably a manager of some sort, you know. So I love orchestrating things, making sure that things are how they're supposed to be. So probably managing something.
Something food related.
Yes.
Okay. And my last question for you is, when you come into New York City?
I will be in New York probably later on this year. I know I definitely need to visit, but yeah. So
like
probably
when?
later on this year.
I'm going to peg you into a... Let me get my calendar out.
Probably around October. Me and my husband have been looking to visit, so.
You need to come and visit. Oh, yeah. So we might see you next fall.
Amen.
You heard it here. That is fantastic. You guys, thank you so much, Chef Schonberg. Let me tell you something. You have such an open heart. You have a beautiful disposition. You are so giving. Whatever you give, may it come threefold back.
Thank you. I greatly appreciate it. And thank you so much for having me. And for everyone watching, you could have done anything with your day, but you decided to be here with me and Miss Juliet. So I do greatly appreciate it.
Yes, we do. We do appreciate you. I appreciate you guys sharing with one another. Nobody has a potty mouth here, right, Lisa?
No.
We're all good. Thank you guys for sharing your thoughts with one another. Thank you for sharing with us your niches and just supporting one another. I think it's absolutely beautiful, and probably after this broadcast I'm going to read over all your comments and start crying, because that's what I do. Because I love it all so much, and I love to see the community actually coming together for one another and growing further. Okay, guys, you guys, thank you again for tuning in. Thank you, Chef, for being with us and giving us volumes and volumes of inspiration. Stay sweet and stay tuned.
Hey everyone, this is Chef Schonberg of Chef Schonberg Sweets, and I love cakerschat.